Untamed is going to be untamed. It's going to be a little crazy. I want to talk to my people. I want to talk to my brothers and sisters. We can have grace and humility in how we interact with other people.
Oh, hot dog, look at you.
And nobody talked about what's really happening.
And let's have conversations about what truth is.
Who determined the number 420,987 from the 2020 election? Was that your organization that determined there were that number of failed signatures, or was that the number reported by all of the counties in Arizona?
So, Madam Chair, Senator Bennett, that number is based on a review of a quarter of the 1.9 million envelopes from the 2020 election. We used 150 trained workers that studied the Secretary of State manual and followed those guidelines. And then they analyzed each voter record individually. Once we got the statistics for that first 25% or 400,000 ballots, then it was extrapolated to determine the final number.
Those are Maricopa County.
And that is just Maricopa County.
Yeah, that's the point I was going to make, Madam Chair, is I think Maricopa County alone had 2,089,563 ballots in 2020, and about 1.9 million of them were by mail. And so your group analyzed about 25% of those 1.9 million in Maricopa County, came up with a percentage that you considered to have failed signature verification, then you extrapolated to get to the 420,000.
Madam Chair, Senator Bennett, that is correct.
Thank you.
Okay, proceed.
Signature verification has been that third rail in Maricopa County. You can't touch it, you can't talk about it. And that was really the line in the sand that the county drew during the Arizona audit. And it's not difficult to see why they don't want us looking at those signatures, because guess what? They don't match.
So signature verification is a process by which you take the voter ballot envelope and compare it to the affidavit in order to determine whether it's a legitimate vote. So there are two areas that we looked at that we want to share with you today. The first one is the signature verification of 2020 and how that relates to 2022. 420,987 ballot envelopes failed signature verification in the 2020 election. The system was never repaired, and because of that, those same issues that caused the massive amount of failures was still in existence in the 2020 election.
In the 2022?
In the 2022 election, which has left our system still vulnerable.
Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. Patrick here. Last second change of plans. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Joe had something come up. He is all good, but surprise! Happy Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you'll stick with us, even though it's myself right now. But yeah, stolen voices, stolen nation, right? We're really the only country that seems to have this system where no one knows what exactly is happening within their own election process. Signa verification, mail in, you got drop boxes. Some people vote in person, some people need ID, some people don't. But if you need ID, you're racist. But if you need ID to collect your government subsidies, that's not racist. I don't understand how that works still in 2026. But here we are. It's because our election system is purposely designed to have selected leaders put into place in order to carry out specific agendas that take and take and take from the American people. Look where we are in 2026. Think back 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Think back to your childhood. How much is your life different, all because of the laws, regulations, social pressures, social agendas being pushed down from people that are supposedly elected by us who don't want any of this that's happening to us? It's a crazy dynamic. Like the majority of Americans are not happy with the direction of the country when Biden was in charge. The majority of Americans are not happy with the direction of the country with Trump in charge, but somehow this keeps happening. Why? because the majority of our leaders are there, that are in there, are not actually elected by the American people. They're just in there to promote what they're paid to promote, which is either a social agenda or a political agenda. In most cases, it's both. And in both cases, they don't actually represent what you actually want as the American. Right? How many people in America want safe streets? Is that really a debatable topic, or should that be a debatable topic? What do safe streets in America look like? I would assume people would like to walk around the streets without being harassed, assaulted, robbed, exposed to drugs, needles, nudity. Right? Like, we could all agree on that. So how come we can never get there? How come we can't get there? It's simple. It's basic. It's how kind of where we've arrived at the standard of what we want in a civilization over tens of thousands of years of existence as humans. We've evolved. We've become smarter. We've developed standards. We've developed societal standards and norms that we expect everyone to abide by. And in that, right, it's kind of like the social contract, right? And the way it's supposed to work within our government is like we provide taxes, you provide us with some safety. That's part of the government contract. Not to enforce how we live, but, to provide general safety. So then why are there police officers leaving the job in droves in blue cities and blue states? Why do people feel less and less safe in blue cities and blue states? Do the people that live in blue cities and blue states actually want that? That's why you see what you get in California, Colorado, see what you get in New York, Illinois, Oregon. See what you get. But I want you to take a listen to this police officer talking about his experience over the past 6 months with the same individual. Let's play it.
This is the third time we've pursued this individual in 6 months. So the last time I talked about him, I actually specifically stated that if the judges don't start taking this seriously, that someone's going to get hurt or killed. And here we are, shooting at the police. So maybe they'll take it more serious this time, but I'm not confident. Yeah, it's hard to believe this is going to end peacefully.
So yeah, more and more police officers are feeling this way. And more and more citizens are feeling less safe in their communities every day. And the reason is, part of it is because the judges, right? The judiciary rot is real. It's been hijacked. Judges that are appointed by our selected leaders are appointed there not to uphold rule of law or promote constitutional values for the most part, but more along the lines of promoting social justice. Not really mattering of what the context of the law or the constitutionality of law and decisions. It's been hijacked. Like literally, I was at the Court of Appeals last Tuesday, and from my perspective, the 3 judges up there were extremely fair, and they quite frankly seemed frustrated having to hear my case. But that's because at the district level, federally, the majority of the district courts federally have been hijacked because they've been appointed by Democrat presidents, 16 out of the last 20 years? Something along those lines, right? So you got a major political shift within the federal system at the lower level in the federal system, right? So they handle that. And then you have the states that now appoint, the state governors appoint their judges. And if you have states that are equity-driven, equity-driven, social justice-driven, restorative practices-driven mindset, right? Because that aligns with the belief that the systems with America are inherently racist, so therefore all this needs to basically be undone. And that's what you get. So what you get is you get repeat offenders that are constantly let out back into society, and they reoffend. The statistics tell you this. And I want you to listen to this argument about exactly what I just started to talk about the infiltration of the judicial branch. Cut 3.
To the degree that we see now in society where a lot of judges are this whole restorative justice mentality of not really punishing criminals legally and holding them accountable because of this feminine impulse to care for the offender, that can lead to a very severe society destabilizing situation when criminals are being basically punished more leniently because the judicial system has become feminized, and the idea of punitive punitive incarceration or punitive punishment is seen as too unfair or unjust. And that's really where the feminization of the legal system could come into a situation where it really impacts the mental health of a society, is if criminal conduct is not punished appropriately.
Well, and also, like, I keep seeing these statistics that show that really the vast majority of crime is done by a very small number of people. So the obvious thing is remove them from society. Of course, treat them humanely and everything else. That would be, I think, the right way. But remove them, right? Otherwise, you keep having tons of crime that you don't need to.
Recidivism.
Yeah. And that is a major issue, and restorative justice is used in the school system. And it's funny that the leftists argued for a long time the school-to-prison pipeline, right? The schools are set up to set out kids to prison, right? That's been the argument. But yet the school systems mimic what's going on in the judicial system. And how is that working out? Because in the schools now, the restorative practices are used pretty much everywhere. You cannot suspend kids really anymore. You can't hold them accountable for their behavior. You can't keep them after school, right? There is no punitive consequence for the behavior. So now what you do is you have kids write reflection articles. If their parent approves, they could possibly do some community service at the school. Other times it may be some lunch detention where they don't get to play outside. But once you get to the high school level, right, there needs to be accountability for kids' behavior, because if you don't have that accountability for a kid's behavior, you have what you have now starting to happen, which are these teen takeovers during the summer. They're taking over malls, taking over beaches. That's a product of what's going on within the school system, not holding kids accountable for their behaviors at the school system. So where do they learn, or how do they actually learn what's appropriate or not? Once again, the bar continuously gets lowered for kids. Instead of holding them accountable for their behavior, this is not what takes place in a normal school. This is not, you don't get to walk around school for 4 hours all day, never go to class, and not listening to an adult. Or maybe you do. That goes on pretty much everywhere. I guarantee that goes on in a lot of public schools. Eventually, as the kids get older in school, they stop coming. But there are some seniors that go to the high schools that just walk around all day. I guarantee you. Talk to anybody. Talk to anyone that works in the school system. And just because they can. And then kids don't learn what's right and wrong, how to be held accountable. And then you just unleash a new wave of generation of kids that are no longer in school, that are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, that had never been held accountable before in their lives through the whole educational process, then get unleashed onto society, who, by the way, probably don't have a lot of skills, because today around 52% of kids can read and write at grade level. So just the mixing, the concoction, the Molotov cocktail that's being made is not going to be good when it's lit. It's going to explode. And that's part of the cartel, the judicial branch, and it's been infiltrated. Education system, same thing, predominantly female, predominantly left-wing aligned. It's the same thing that's going on. And I'm not going to go any more on this. I see Mark Cook is in. I want to bring Mark on because we got a lot to talk about. And I am very gracious that Mark found out, basically when I found out about Joe not being able to hop on, but Mark still said, yeah, let's do it. So Mark, welcome. You lost his picture. All right. Mark will be... my man's Damon's working. There he is. There he is. Hey, Mark, thanks, man, for joining.
No problem. No problem. I just got the last minute of what you were saying there, and I get it, man. I've been calling this out. When I saw the victimization of criminals and criminalization of victims, I saw this starting 15 years ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, bits and pieces of it. Of course, I've always been the very vocal person because I can't keep my mouth shut. And on Facebook, I was very vocal about all this. And being able to see all this so far in advance, I basically saw societal failure impending because of these signs. And I warned people and warned people and warned people. And, here we are now. We're living in a society that has fully now victimized criminals and criminalized the victims. And of course, there is no accountability in our youth. And when people grow up, when kids grow up without even a concept of being accountable for their actions, then they don't make the right decisions to decide what their actions should be, because there is no thought process about potential consequence or accountability for that consequence. So they just act on impulse, and that's what we've got here. So I appreciate you saying that. I wish I could have jumped on earlier to hear everything beforehand. But anyway.
No, man, you hit the nail on the head. And like, I see you, I talk to you behind the scenes whenever you join. But my background, I was in education. I was a dean out here in Colorado. I used to deal with this stuff. I was at Hinckley High School in Aurora Public Schools when with restorative justice and being told we're not suspended, we're doing this, this, and this, but then you don't give me the tools to do this and this with. So there is no accountability actually to be had on the kids. So then the kids that actually come to school that you say you want to create a safe learning environment for, because kids can't succeed if they don't feel safe, those kids are being terrorized because of the behaviors of the kids that I can't hold accountable for their behavior in the school because I'm told don't touch. So yeah, man, it's crazy.
And that message, it destroys the ability for the good kids to live in an environment that is conducive to that as well. It tears everything up. It destroys society from the inside, and people don't seem to see 2 inches in front of their face. Unfortunately, they're like right here. It's all they can care about is, what is that book from what God said? That Elon just referenced a couple days ago, Suicidal Empathy. Suicidal Empathy is a book that everyone should read because, and Elon's right in pointing it out. He also is very good at understanding and seeing things a little bit ahead of when they actually happen. It's absolutely exactly what's going on here. It is the empathy that basically is suicide for a nation. When you care so much that you don't hold people to account for their actions, you disintegrate the entire framework of society. And we are now living in the consequences of that happening. And we're 2 generations deep now. So now the kids that had no concept of accountability as they were growing up are now in positions of influence, turning into positions of power, and they have no concept of accountability. And when you have people in power that have no concept of accountability, you kind of have a problem. And here we are.
Oh, well said. Well said. And you've been a busy man. You've been around. There was a good announcement this time last week, was there not?
Possibly. Which one was it? I don't even remember the announcement. It happened 5 minutes ago.
Polis giving clemency to Tina.
Okay, so behind me, yes, the wonderful one behind me.
Yes.
That I remember Tina. Yes. Considering she's behind me in every podcast I do. Yes, I'm very happy that Polis finally did the right thing. He certainly did not have to do the right thing. I'm not real happy with how long it took him to do the right thing. And it is interesting to see the level of attack he's now taking. And maybe it'll give him an opportunity to actually see how dirty this whole thing is. I don't know how involved he is in the deepness and the wideness of the deep state itself and what's been happening to this country. I think he's probably got a little bit more of a narrow view. I know he is in a book or documentary, and I'm not going to mention that, but Polis and I do not see eye to eye on a lot of things. I don't think he's the most evil person in the world, though. I think we are up against, as a society, the most evil people in the world. I think he's not quite in that group. So I pray that maybe we can open his eyes a little bit. He's not a stupid guy. He is a smart guy. I just wish he was more aligned with my ideals than the opposite.
Yeah. I can't say I've seen too many wins out of this guy, but I will give him credit for putting signature to paper on this one. There's been a hell of a lot of pressure. The treatment of her has been horrific. It's glad to see that it takes how many to move an inch in this, right? Like how much pressure was needed for Polis to do the right thing here? How much?
A tremendous amount, but also think about the pressure that he has been under from those that create pressure for him. So he's had pressure from both sides as well, and we had to create more pressure to beat the counter pressure. So and I think that's what we finally were able to do, and he did it. So God bless him for that.
So does that actually mean he did the right thing here? When you're actually disliked by both sides for kind of almost the same reason, does that mean he did the right thing?
I think maybe he reached deep inside. Maybe he looked in that mirror at night. Many times I've asked him to do it. Look at the mirror before you go to sleep and think about what type of impact you want to leave on the world. And maybe he had a little come to Jesus moment and realized that he has to do sometimes a difficult thing, but it's the right thing. I really hope. I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
I'm praying for him.
Did you see Tina put out a post in regards to what's going on to Polis?
No, I haven't seen the recent one, no. But let me guess, she's probably backing him up a little bit like I am.
She is. Hey, let's put it up, Damon. Let's put up Tina's post. It came out, I think, earlier this morning. We put it in. I was going to put it into show. There you go. This is from Tina. I feel it is important to speak out against the travesty we are seeing happening in Colorado. The Democrats have once again shown that if you do not stay within their party line, they will try to destroy you. Governor Jared Polis commuted 9 sentences and pardoned 35 people. But the outrage from Colorado Democrats is aimed at Governor Polis and me. They are attacking the governor for showing mercy, and they have put a bullseye on a 70-year-old nonviolent first-time offender. Doesn't that make you wonder why? It should be obvious to Democrats and Republicans alike that they have something to hide. It is so obvious that they are willing to continue destroying people's lives to cover it up. The real victims are the people of Colorado. The real victims are every voter who deserves honest, fair, and transparent elections. I thank Governor Polis for being willing to stand up in the middle of this persecution and do what he believed was right. I have always said I will never back down, I will never give up, and I will never give in. I will always stand for truth, transparency, and fairness in our elections. No matter how hard people like Jenna Griswold and Phil Weiser try to cover up what is done to the people of Colorado, I will keep speaking the truth. The censure of Governor Polis shows just how radical the left has truly become. And if they are this afraid of mercy being shown to one whistleblower, the public should ask what they are still trying so hard to hide.
See, I love Tina. I love the fact that we're on the same page and hadn't even discussed any of this. But she's absolutely right. It is an opportunity for the public to finally see the power of the machine that controls everyone, including Polis. At least they're trying to. It's totally out of all of our hands, out of our control. Until we take back our elections, this is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It doesn't matter if you toe the line for a little bit. As soon as you veer off, like Polis did, the full attack ends up being directed on you. And they don't care what side of the aisle that someone's on. I've had Democrats call me for years saying, hey, I think my election's getting stolen. I know you're a Republican. Will you still talk to me even though I'm a Democrat? I'm like, that's the most ridiculous question ever. That party means nothing to me, just fair elections. So of course I will. I used to be a Democrat. I was a Democrat longer than I was a Republican. And I saw, the dirtiness of things. And what happened is, the Democrat Party was infiltrated. And that party, when it was infiltrated by these globalist, insane people, they moved the party so far left that the party ended up moving far left of me. And that's why I thought, well, maybe I'm just in the wrong party. So I went and changed parties at that point when I noticed some other things. I really thought it was the Democrat Party that was the problem. I didn't understand that what had happened is that party had been infiltrated. And then, of course, later on, we find out the Republican Party has been infiltrated by the same group. Now, the conservatives have put up a bit of a better fight. And, had tables been turned, and it happened way early on, and we didn't have the Democrat, we'll say the subversion of the Democrat Party as a reference point, we may have not seen our side suffering that same consequence in time. So maybe we gained a little bit about watching what happened with the Democrat Party first, but these same people have come after the Republican Party as well. Those are the real rhinos, not the establishment people. Rhinos are actually infiltrators that just wear the R in order to subvert the party. And those have shown up. We see them. That's this big fight. We've got the America First Patriots. We've got the rhinos, and then we've got the establishment in the middle. And the rhinos have got the establishment basically under their wing and under their spell of deception. And I'm praying that we can wake up the establishment part of the Republican Party enough so they realize they should be standing with the American citizen side of that Republican Party, the America First side of the Republican Party, and dump the rhino side. If we get our party cleaned up, I hope the Democrats can get their party cleaned up, because there are a lot of good Democrats out there. We see different on policies. That's okay. We're supposed to be able to do that. But what's happened is their party's been taken over by absolute whack jobs. And I hope the good people in the Democrat Party wipe your party clean of the whack jobs.
Well said. I agree with pretty much everything you said there. Pretty hit the nail on the head. You pretty much always do when you get rolling. I've learned to just let you go, and you hit it on the head with everything you said right there. Just one thing with Tina though, just to me it shows the character of this lady. Like working here, I'm one of the few people that has not really met her. I came to the party late here with Joe. Joe has a long history with Tina. So does, I believe you do as well, and others that we've had on the show. So to me, this just shows the character of a lady who was punished for uncovering fraud, who got sentenced for her speech, gets thrown in the hole on multiple occasions. She doesn't have to come out and say anything what's being done to Polis. She doesn't have to come out and say a word in defense of him, try and kind of run cover and just like, oh, time out. She doesn't have to say a word about it.
No, but she doesn't. And in fact, it doesn't help her by saying anything.
Correct. But
it only puts more of a target on her back, right? And so, yeah, that's absolutely demonstrates what an incredible character she has. And I can't wait for the rest of the citizens in Colorado and around the country that think she's some type of evil person, when they finally realize who Tina really is and how amazing Tina really is and how Tina fought for all of us in this whole fight and has never, ever given up. She's one of the bravest people I know. I just feel bad for all the people that have been deceived so much to make them think that she's the bad guy. But they had to do that. They had to try to demonize the good people so the people that they use don't see the truth and end up attacking the good people. And it's all based on deception. This whole thing, mass-induced deception. It's disgusting.
It is. I hope to meet her, and I wonder if they'll be conditioning her upon her parole that she can't speak. And I wonder what levels they're going to try and go to possibly muzzle her when she does get out. I believe it's June 1st. She is right. She's going to right.
I don't know how they can really muzzle her at this point. I mean, they already had an issue with violating her First Amendment rights. And so if the parole board then tries to also violate her First Amendment rights, I don't think that's going to look too hot. And there's a lot of eyes on it. There's eyes all over the nation. In fact, I know people in other countries that know Tina Peters' name. And so the eyes around the world are on this. And I don't think anyone's going to allow more violation of First Amendment rights to occur. I hope and I pray that the parole board just does what a parole board does and doesn't treat her any differently, and allows some normal conditions of parole who she shouldn't even be in the first place. And she's also, got a case that's under appeal. And truly, when everyone realizes the truth in this, she will be vindicated because Tina Peters did absolutely nothing wrong. I know she has claimed that she, and she's honest in this from what I've heard, of course, is that she really truly feels some remorse for having to lie to the Secretary of State. And, Tina made the statement, so read Tina's exact statement on it. I don't want to put words in her mouth. What I can say is I'm upset that the Secretary of State, her actions made it, basically gave people no choice but to mislead the Secretary of State. Had the Secretary of State been honest about what she was doing, no one would have had to mislead her. And I will flat out say, if I was in Tina's position, I would have done the same thing. Because when I feel that a crime is being committed, I don't care who is committing the crime. If I've taken an oath to my fellow citizens to protect their election records, protect their vote, and to serve them, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to let any criminal, even a criminal that is supposedly over my head or above me, commit a crime on the people that I'm responsible for taking care of. I'm going to stick my nose out just the same as Tina did. So I'm sorry that she was even put in that position, and that's all on Jenna Griswold.
Yeah, but the cartel's got to protect the cartel, basically to no end. And she hopefully this time was about in 8 days, so next Monday maybe, or over the weekend, next weekend. It should be good. I hope to meet her. I want to shake her hand and just say thank you. That's the least I could say to the lady.
You're gonna love her.
I've heard people that know her, that work here, that I've spoken with about her, is like, you two are gonna be going off. So I'm looking forward to connecting with her. Hopefully she comes in. It'd be great to meet her. And another aspect of Colorado politics, Victor Marx. I recently found out he backed out of an upcoming debate once again.
No.
Yeah. There's a debate coming up at May 27th, 28th, 29th. I got it somewhere. Give me a second here. Next Tuesday.
So shocking that he would back out of another debate. What are the chances?
I guess pretty high. At this point. You're more likely not to see him than you are to see him, unless he's getting a fluff piece done with him, for the most part. But did you see the campaign video that put out explaining him backing out of the debate? Did you see this?
No. I think it was was it a woman like explaining why? Because he didn't have the balls to actually say it himself. Is that what it was?
Yes. I don't know if we haven't played this yet, but I want our viewers to see it. So we're gonna play it right now, and then we're gonna get going, because we got the email chain, we got the list of demands apparently. Right? Did you heard about the email list?
Beautiful.
That they had? Yeah. So we're gonna talk about it. All right. All right. B2, Damon. Let's roll, baby.
My name is Rachel Flick, spokesperson for the Victor Marx campaign. Victor Marx accepted the May 26th Centennial Institute debate at Colorado Christian University in good faith. He was preparing for it and looking forward to a serious conversation with Colorado voters. But we later learned that one of the moderators, Michael Brown, had publicly taken a position against this campaign. His KOA broadcast made that clear, and his direct communications with our team made it more clear. Mr. Brown told an Army combat veteran on our staff to man up and answer his questions. He also sent the campaign a demand letter requiring extensive records before the debate, warning that our response or silence would be used against Victor on stage and on air. This is not normal moderator conduct. Moderators are supposed to create a fair forum for voters, not act as hostile participants in the race. Michael Brown disqualified himself through his own words and actions. Coloradans deserve an honest stage, not a predetermined one. Victor will still be with voters on May 26th at Phil Long Music Hall in Colorado Springs at 6 p.m. Details are on the campaign website. He's also looking forward to the 9 News debate with Kyle Clark on June 2nd at the University of Denver, televised statewide. Look, Colorado voters deserve honest conversations. That is exactly what Victor Marx and our campaign are committed to delivering.
So yeah, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
The CIA did a great job on that. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe not.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. It's totally pathetic.
Now, they put how many debates is that he has now backed out of? Is that 3 or 4?
Oh, it's more than that.
It's more than that. Okay.
Because there's also public forums that he's refused to attend.
Gotcha.
So not only the public forums, but also the debates. So he doesn't show up anywhere unless he's got control of the conversation. He doesn't show up. He doesn't. I mean, he's apparently running to represent the people, but yet he doesn't show up so the people can even find out who the heck he is. Everything he does is scripted. Everything is controlled, except for the Candace Owens, and God bless Candace Owens. I know some people, people feel differently about Candace Owens. That's okay. I don't know her very well. I didn't get involved in all the drama of the Candace drama, but she did a great job in that interview. And if no one has seen that interview, you need to watch it because you get to see actually what a true psychopath this guy is. But yeah, let's look at these concerns because I think it was Michael that put this stuff out, basically a list of questions that he wanted to ask Victor up front. So he had everything right going into the debate. And when Victor saw these questions, his campaign team disappeared. Said, nope, we're pulling them. And then they put this poor woman out to explain Victor because he can't speak for himself, apparently.
Yeah, but well said. And let's put these up, Damon. B3. Let's go into the images under the post. But yeah, so the pictures that we're going to put up are going to be the pictures of the email or letter that Mike Brown sent to Victor Marks. And I did a quick read of this. It's not a harsh demand here. But if you go to page 2 at the very top, he even says it here. As a debate moderator and a talk show host, I have an obligation to my audience, and you have an obligation to Colorado voters to ensure that the record is accurate. This letter constitutes a formal, good faith request for documentary substantiation of the specific claims enumerated below. Each request identifies the claim you made, the date and broadcast on which you made it, and the category of documentation I am requesting. I am requesting your response with supporting documentation no later than Tuesday, May 19th, 2026, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That deadline affords your campaign 15 days to respond and affords me 8 days to review any materials prior to the debate. It is by any reasonable measure sufficient time for a campaign asserting that its claims are fully documented. So, is that demanding? Is that belittling? Is that showing bias? Or is that called accountability, Mark?
That's just called questions. That's called questions, wanting to make sure they get everything right before the debate. And one of the things that Victor complained to Candace about is she didn't have her specific points proper, right? She got a city name wrong and the amount of years she got wrong. And which, he claimed 3 years in the service, yet the TD 214 shows 2 years and 4 months, and Candace claimed 2 years. Oh my gosh, I don't think she was that far off. But he claimed that she didn't have her points right. And Mike is basically reaching out to Victor before this event, trying to get clarification so he can ensure he gets his points right. And apparently, Victor doesn't want to be a part of that. Because here's what's going on. Victor doesn't want to answer the questions because he knows the answers will only incriminate him. He knows the answers will be embarrassing or deadly to his campaign. The whole campaign is AstroTurf. It's all fake. He's a liar. He's a lying psychopath. In my opinion, Victor, you're a lying psychopath. And I think everyone else sees it too. I don't think I don't think even a blind person could ignore it at this point.
It's like our election system.
Amazing, isn't it?
You can't ignore it. And then as you go through the letter, it's asking about documentation of the 40 MOUs, his martial arts credentials, his Camp Al-Ho rescue operation in Syria, his Haiti operations, his Gaza entry, the West Bank, Palestinian forces training, Dave Eubank and and the Free Burma Rangers, the Mosul firefight, legal name, campaign website. It seems stuff that is just everything that Marx has referenced or tried to hang his hat on, that now he's being told to provide documentation so I could afford a line of questioning and debate around these things. You can't touch it, no good. Which means when you look under the hood, it's not there. Right? Logic, right? But what
I think it's worse than not there. I think here's my guess right now I'm seeing on all this. This looks really bad on so many accounts. And there are so many weird things about Victor Marx that are intertwined with so many strange, unexplainable things. You know, missions out in Haiti and knowing all these people all over the country, and, you know, military this and military that and agency this. And, you know, I'm thinking that if I had, let's say if I was the CIA or some agency and I had this operative that I've put into a position to be able to run a bunch of operations across the nation for years and years and years, and I'm really risking, I'm almost losing control of the nation. I needed to find a person to put into a run for governor to make sure that they destroyed the ability for any real candidate to actually get on the primary. I might pick this individual and put them into that position as, you know, as the perfect person, you know, kind of like an actor, to go in here and pretend to run a campaign. And who knows? I mean, maybe they'll even steal it and give Colorado to Victor Marx, which I could totally see them doing. They have the power to do it. They easily could just rig the election. They'll condition the public to expect the possibility of the result. It'll then be a really close race. And then, oh my gosh, Victor just barely won. Oh my gosh, Colorado has flipped the governor from blue to red, even though, of course, you know, the red is a fake red, just like, you know, a lot of the blue is a fake blue. I think that's probably the op they're running. It's either that or just make sure that no viable candidate gets through the primaries. And then with all of the baggage that's attached to Victor, he'd be so easy to take out. And think about it. Is the left attacking Victor Marx right now? They're not, right? He's got skeleton after skeleton after skeleton. He's a Republican candidate, apparently the front runner for the Republican Party for governor. And the left
raising the most money,
not
right?
Attacking. Right.
Raising the most
and there's
money.
not a single attack from the left. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
In fact, they're supporting him. They paid for, I think they paid for a poll and paid for some ad, like pro-Victor ad. I mean, how obvious, Colorado citizens, how obvious does this need to be for you to realize the frickin' system is rigged, it's controlled, the machine places the candidates. They took over the parties to control the candidates, then they took over the voting system industry to control the results of the election. They've got it all. And the way we stop it all is if we count our own votes. And of course, we stop the political manipulation of the parties. But if we clean our parties out of this mechanism of control that's infiltrated our parties, and we take back and count our own ballots, their whole house of cards crumbles. We save our country. We give the Republic another 250 years at least. And that's all we have to do is count our own damn votes.
I know. And what was it? Who was it? Was it Stalin?
Yes.
He who controls the count controls.
It doesn't
the
matter
election.
who votes. It only matters who counts the votes.
Yeah, right. And that's and when you have electronic machines connected to foreign servers that are hooked up to our elections, there's problems.
Well, not even connected to foreign. I mean, they don't have to be connected to anything, right? Yeah. The manipulation can easily and probably likely is built right into the systems themselves. So they don't need to be connected to anything. And that was the connected to the internet was another distraction to keep people focused on, oh, well, if the system's not connected, then it must be safe. That's not the case at all. So I think that was a psychological operation to get people totally misdirected on this election problem. The fact that the citizens have no way to see under the hood of our election systems, just like we can't see under the hood of Victor Marx, it's the same problem. If we can't see under the hood, why the hell are we buying the car?
And why
it's
is
as simple as that. We have.
I'm sorry, but why is there resistance too, right? That's the thing. If you want to make sure your car is running well, you want to, get that thing checked out every once in a while. You want to make sure you got a viable candidate. You want to check out that candidate. So, it's just absurd that we can't even the right? Election fraud's not real. Election's not stolen. Open up the hood. Show it. Don't resist.
Those with nothing to hide nothing.
Exactly, right? It's not that hard of a concept, right? The more you hide, the more it just shows the guilt. The problem is we just can't punch through that ceiling to really get the traction needed to get the systems changed. That's my
because
personal
the criminals,
feeling.
Yeah, they don't care. They're never going to show us under the hood because we know what's under the hood. It's their machine that's under the hood. They're not going to show us that. You can't. There's no way you can ask a criminal to stop being a criminal. They're not going to say, "Okay, we'll stop." You can't demand the criminal to stop committing crimes. They're going to tell you this, right? They don't care. They're criminals. So we're people that are continuing to negotiate with criminals is ridiculous, okay? Once you've trying to negotiate with a criminal and it doesn't work, I would give up. Don't double and triple down on negotiating. We are up against a criminal cartel that has stolen our country. And they've stolen our country by creating electronic systems to run our elections, to take that job away from the citizens, to take the control away from the people, because they want to be in control. They want to be the ones counting the votes. So we have corporations and the government counting the votes of a system that belongs to the people. There's the problem. Once we run our own elections and we report what our totals are, then we'll tell the government who is going to be in government. But the government, who is controlled and put into place by us, is not going to be the one telling us how to run our elections. That's the one thing that belongs to us right there, our elections, period. Fair elections are the citizens' last non-violent means of settling political discourse and the last non-violent stop at corruption. That's it. That's all we have is our elections. If we have uncontrolled corruption everywhere, the only way the citizens can stop it peacefully is by having fair elections. We can vote out the corruption. But if we are not able to vote out the corruption, what option does that leave the people? And I don't want us to ever go there. That's the scary part. We can't do that.
Not a pretty one. It's definitely not a pretty one. And did you see, we got to finish up with Victor Marx. Did you see that the Centennial Institute put out a statement in regards to him backing out of the debate as well?
I hadn't seen it yet.
Well, we got the Centennial Institute saying, "We are disappointed that candidate Victor Marx has chosen not to participate in the candidate debate being hosted by the Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University on May 26th. The Marx campaign argued that one of the moderators, Michael D. Brown, was biased against its candidate. Upon learning this, Michael Brown offered to remove himself as a panelist." Did you know that?
I did, absolutely.
I did not know. We learned of the Marx campaign decision on Thursday evening, May 14th, via voicemail left for Centennial Institute Director Greg Schauer. Schauer attempted to call the Marx campaign manager 3 times the following day and left a voicemail requesting to discuss the decision. No return calls were received from the Marx campaign. If the Marx campaign was truly eager to participate in the debate to provide voters with an opportunity to hear the candidates discuss the issues, they would have agreed to an amendable resolution, one that Centennial Institute was eager to find. Instead, the Marx campaign quickly scheduled another event for the same date and time, which they announced on Saturday, May 16th. It is clear the Marx campaign was not looking for a solution. They were looking for an excuse to avoid a public debate against fellow candidates that would give voters the opportunity to compare and evaluate. On Tuesday, May 26th, in the McDonald Performance Hall at Colorado Christian University, there will be a podium provided for Mr. Marx to participate. Whether it is occupied or vacant will be his choice. The forum will be fair and unbiased. Mr. Marx has no excuse that prevent him from participating. Woo! Man.
Well done.
Yeah, and props to Mike Brown saying, "I'll step aside," because everyone understands the importance of getting this guy in front of people with other candidates on the stage in a non-controlled environment. Everyone
He can't answer
understands that.
questions. Yep. And he won't answer the questions. He doesn't want to. He wants to skate through his whole campaign, and they want to fake the citizens' perception about him. They want to make all the support totally manufactured so they can rig the system. That's all they're doing. And the guy, it's really even worse than just these questions that Michael wanted to know. I think everything about Victor Marx is fake.
That's quite possible.
I think his whole life is fake. Yeah, and I think he's worried. And actually, it's not him. Trust me, Victor Marx is not the brains of this operation. Victor Marx is a puppet. He's a puppet of a system, of the machine, and the machine is calling the shots, and the machine is telling him, no, do not do these things. You know, I mean, the guy's an idiot. Listen to him talk. The guy's a moron. He doesn't have much going on up there. Not to mention, you know, a total psychopath.
Yeah, and it's just that any reason to pull out, we're going to pull out, and we'll schedule something else that we can control. Therefore, we can never go back. We got out. And the only thing we could say that I could think he did off script was the Candace piece. Even the other stuff he goes on, right? He got Benny Johnson piece. He was on with Matt Gaetz recently, I saw. It's very, I think I just saw him recently with David Harris. So he's getting a chance to sit with these conservative influences to introduce himself to the conservative mainstream, all while dodging the ones that should matter most, the Colorado people, because he's fighting for the Colorado vote for governorship.
It's an illusion. His whole campaign is an illusion. It's a controlled illusion. And just like they don't want the people involved in the elections, they really don't want the people involved in the campaign or asking questions either. They want us all just filling out the ballots, put them in the machines, and accept whatever results we tell you. The whole thing is a show, just like our election system's a show. Campaigns, the controlled campaigns, have all been a show as well. They don't want the people running the elections, and they don't want real American citizens running for office. They enjoy the control they've got, and we're going to blow it all up.
And I feel like this one is just one of the more blatant ones. Just in your face, here it is, take it or leave it. This is what we're doing. I don't care what you say, how you say it, and we're just going to keep on steamrolling. It is quite remarkable. It really is.
It is full throttle, right? They are doubling down, tripling down. It is fascinating to watch. And then what's even more fascinating, a little scary, look at the people that still don't see it. There are still some people out there that say, well, you know, he's got the R, so I'm voting for the R. Like, oh my God, people, seriously, like, wake up, stop falling for the con. But there's not everyone is at the same level of awareness. There's simple people out there that are good-hearted, simple people. They don't think multiple levels deep. They just look at the surface. And this illusion operation is meant for them. And so what our job is to help people rise up from just seeing things on the surface level and help people see what's under the hood and be inquisitive and curious about what's under the hood and show them how to lift the hood and look at it. We have to raise the collective level of awareness of the population to a point where it is then above the illusionary tactics that they've been employing over all these years. When we do that, their whole game crumbles. And that's why they're doing everything they can to take all of us out. You know, that's what J6 was all about. That's what all these attacks on America First is. We are fighting, you know, our government's at war with our government, and then the citizens are at war with the half of the government, or the operation that's got control of half of our government is also at war with the citizens. So we've got some good people still left in our government, luckily, but very few. And then we've got the people that have totally lost control as well. I mean, we're in a fight to save our entire republic here, and the enemy is everywhere, and they're in our backyard, and they're sitting right next to us. Well, not next to us. You and I.
But I get you.
Yes.
Yeah, and
they're running for governor. Our enemy's running for governor right now of Colorado. There you go.
Yeah. You got to worry. And he's gathering a war chest compared to the other Republican candidates. It's just, if you like,
he's fake though.
I know, man. I know. It's just you gotta. People really do gotta wake up. Is basically the long and short of it. And I try and talk to people about it, right, and explain to people that I know what I've been able to learn, and they think I'm crazy. You know, so it's a balancing act on trying how to educate without isolating people. You know, where they just turn around like, yo, you're crazy. Hey, have you noticed how the crazy people of the last 8 to 10 years have been right on point pretty much the whole way?
About everything.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, amazing that all the crazy people happen to be right the whole time. Maybe the crazy people were actually the sane ones. Just maybe. Maybe we knew what we were talking about. I don't know.
Yeah, a little education, a little deeper thinking, asking how and whys, doing a little more reading instead of watching. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot. That's what being a citizen is, though, right? Like, the idea of citizenry has gone away, I feel, for like a lot of people. A lot of people expect that the government should handle everything, but at the heart of it, as a citizen of a country, one of your job and responsibility is to check the government. Like, at the heart of it, your job is to be an informed, educated populace. And the school system isn't doing it. So you as the individual needs to train this into yourself and into your kids on how to actually look and think and go deeper into what's being presented at face value, especially this day and age from the media. You cannot trust anything at face value from the mainstream media.
No, we're all being lied to about everything.
Yeah, and gaslit.
The government is of, for, and by the people. It's supposed to be us, right? There's not supposed to be the people and then the government. The people own this whole thing. We own all of this. And we are supposed to do our civic duty for a short period of our lives and go work in the government arena to serve our fellow citizens. We do that for a little bit, and then we jump back into the private sector. That's how this is all supposed to work. There's not supposed to be lifetime politicians that tell us what to do. We're not supposed to have lifetime leaders. We are our own leaders. But America doesn't understand this because they destroyed our education system, so it does not teach our children what America actually is. So if they don't understand the concept of self-governance, then they're never going to want to be part of self-governance. They're going to want to be governed. And that's what they're told in school, is that they're governed and they're oppressed. The oppressors, you know, are the ones that have oppressed you. And the oppressors are the people over here, and you're the victims. And that's what they're taught growing up. So it's conditioned helplessness. And that's not what America is all about. We own this whole thing. We run this whole thing. And as soon as we take our vote back, their whole game's over. And that's why their number one threat is the citizens running our elections again. Because if we do that, it's over for them. And you'll notice they are trying everything they can to block every effort the elections, or even be able to audit our elections. Because God forbid, if we audit our elections or hand count our ballots, we'll know they're rigging it easily. And they can't have that because their whole system crumbles when that happens.
Yep, and then the arrests start happening, and then leads to the bigger arrest, and then the cartel family finally gets broken up. And that's what I think
they'll lose all their control.
That's what we need to restore the voice of the people, right? Give us back what is ours.
Yep.
Give us back what is ours.
Well, no, we're going to take back what is ours. We're not asking them to give us back what is ours. We are going to take it back. And I really want to do it peacefully. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing on the Hand Count Roadshow is I want to teach people how to take action and get involved so we can do this peacefully. Because I know there are citizens out there, I've met them on my travels, that they don't want to get involved at all because they want to sit back and wait for the moment. And that is, I think, very irresponsible of them. I do not agree with that. I think people need to all get involved right now at waking up everyone you can, removing everyone's heads from their rear ends, and getting involved and creating peaceful, massive peaceful pressure to reclaim our elections. Because if we do not do that, if we fail to do that as citizens of this country, then we'll only be left with what our Constitution provided us. And I don't want it to have to go there. You know, that's the final plan Z. And even though some people want it to go there, I don't want it to go there.
Yeah, I don't think really any of us do. It would be too awful. Total mess. Yeah. It would not be good. Where are you heading to next? What do you got going on?
I'm going to Connecticut next, leaving New York tomorrow. And then, so I'll be in Connecticut, then Rhode Island. And then I'm heading up the rest of the East Coast, north and east from here. And then I'll be working my way back. I think I have almost 20 something states, or maybe it's just a little under 20 now, on my way back to Colorado to vote in person on Election Day coming up here in November.
Where in New York are you right now?
Just north, up in, I think it's called Peekskill.
Okay. Yeah,
north of Manhattan.
Yeah, you're a little bit getting to the upper states of New York.
We're getting it. I've never been up over here. So this is kind of cool. I've never been to the Northeast of our country. So this is going to be very interesting. And I'll tell you, the people out here, a lot of them don't seem to understand the problem that we have here. They don't understand elections. A lot of them don't even know who Tina Peters is.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And everywhere I go, I tell people the story of Tina Peters, because everyone needs to know about Tina Peters. And on the Western Coast, everyone knows, West Coast, Central, everyone knows, even North, South. But over in the Northeast, so far, I've run into a lot of people that say, who's Tina Peters?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised, but keep doing the good work, keep preaching. Enjoy some of the Northeast cuisine. You get some good Chinese food. You can get some good Italian. You get some bagels. I miss some bagels. But
if I had time.
You got to eat, man.
You know that dude, I went 6 days without even opening the door of my trailer this last week. I seriously wake up, I go to my desk, I sit, and I work all day long. And then I usually pass out about 3 o'clock in the morning and then sleep for about 4 hours and wake up and do it again. And I realized I am out of food. I have no more cans left. So I'm going to have to actually open the door of the trailer. I think there's people outside, I've heard.
Oh, there you go.
So I have to go out and be in that public with the people and stuff, and go get some food. And then tomorrow morning on the road to Connecticut, where I have more in-person presentations. But I've been doing a lot of remote presentations. So I've been very busy online. Just got done with a great one in North Carolina yesterday. And then that's turning into some good stuff as well. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's beating me up, but we have no choice because we have to save our country. So that's all right. And what Tina's been through is far worse than anything I go through every day.
Fair. And get some pizza up in the Northeast. Definitely get some pizza while you can. Open the door, get some fresh air, get some pizza. But Mark, thanks again for joining us, man. Great conversation. Drive safe and try and have a good Memorial Day weekend if you can.
I will. Thank you. You too, Pat. See you later.
Thanks. Take care, man. Woo. Always great having Mark on. Knows a whole lot. Speaks the hard-hitting truth. Not afraid to dive in and just give his 2 cents. Totally appreciate the time he took to sit and talk with me and bring some info and knowledge to you guys. Please check out his website. If he's coming to your area, check him out. Mark is a very cool, engaging, smart fella. I'm sure he will leave you with some knowledge, or at least leave you thinking or questioning things, which is all we could ask for, right? And that's how education evolves. That's how people learn. That's how hopefully systems get better. So yeah, let's take a break. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about how this is all playing out in our stolen nation of America. Be right back.
Oh, hi. I almost didn't see you there. Welcome to DCF Buns, where you can find the freshest buns in town, if I do say so myself. Our master bakers teach class every week. So whether you're new to baking or trying to improve your culinary skills, we got you covered. And we can help you bake the cake of your dreams. We'll even clean your cake if you want. And if you don't want to bake anything yourself, we have loads of fresh buns available in a variety of shapes and sizes. Check us out at dcfbuns.com to learn more. DCF Buns, we keep the buns hot and the deals hotter. Buns.
In every thread, in every stitch, Honor-Bound USA weaves the fabric of the American spirit. It's not just apparel, it's a testament to God, family, and country. At Honor-Bound USA, we're a family of patriots who put our faith, family, and America first. When you visit our website, you'll find a line of products that embody our commitment to pray, stand, speak, and act. As the official site for the Untamed podcast, all of our products proclaim speaking the truth with courage. We also have the powerful documentary from Professor David Clements, Let My People Go. Identify yourself as one of the few who are willing to stand for what they believe in. Join the Honor-Bound USA family today. Wear it as a badge of honor, commitment to the values that shape us, and a pledge to the bright future we will build together. Because when you're honor-bound, you're not just wearing a brand, you're embodying a lifestyle.
So it's sickening and it's heinous and it's just repugnant in every single way. But this gets back to the theme that I'm presenting today, which is that the third worldification of American politics is the normalization of assassination. It is one of the most horrifying features of life in the third world, right? Life in Mexico, life in nations across Africa, life in nations across the Middle East, is the normalization of the idea that assassinations are a common expression of disagreement. It is one of the most vile, horrible, evil, society-destroying things that can possibly happen to a country. And so what we've seen on the left, you see it in Luigi Mangione, you see it in the assassination attempts on President Trump, you see it in the cold-blooded assassination of Charlie Kirk, is the creation of an ecosystem that lends ideological aid, support, and comfort to assassination. And you see it, and this might, look, some people might not like what I'm about to say, but it has to be said. You see it as well where you have the left continue in its professional associations like nursing and doctors and education to mint people, to produce people who casually cheer assassinations. This is, in other words, a regular part of their vernacular, their conversation. Is I'm glad that so-and-so was shot, or I'm mad that so-and-so didn't finish the job. This is common now in white-collar professions that are controlled by Democrat credentialing bodies, is it creates this kind of person. And it's sick. I mean, you see it online. You see it also in left-wing comedy, where they cheer and they laugh and they joke and they all have a good time talking about our friends getting murdered. It's really fundamentally the normalization of assassination, and if we don't deal with this as a country, we're in for a world of pain and a world of hurt.
Yeah. We have taken a drastic turn over the last 10 years as far as what political violence is, and more along the lines of political violence being acceptable in this country. Except the acceptable part is that if it happens to someone on the right, it's all good and it's cheered upon. The right never cheers about killing anybody. But that's just part of the third worldification of America, as Stephen Miller says, right? It's adapting that type of mentality. And then also when you adapt radical agendas, it creates a third world atmosphere that used to be a top-tier first world country, right? Like, think about what our society looks like, where we're at, where if you can be if you could be proud of this country, you could be exiled from a career. If you want boys out of women's locker rooms, you get labeled a transphobe, and you get labeled someone that's a hater of somebody. If you want to protect and be a masculine man at home and protect your family and lead the way, that's called toxic masculinity. Like, it's just absurd what is going on in our society. It's the third worldification. It's the deterioration of normal society standards to make our society now look like it's unrecognizable. And in order to make our society recognizable, you have to fight every day just to have normalcy. It's America 2026, and it's being done purposely. It's being done purposely. And the fact is now that there's a Democrat in Connecticut that is arguing that the American flag is not inclusive to all people in the United States. Listen to this.
We talk about diversity, and granted, the American flag should be inclusive for all people, but it is not. Not while we have to fight constantly to respect people of different races, religions, sexual orientation, and furthermore, we do have under the First Amendment of our Constitution what's called freedom of speech. And nowhere does freedom of speech allow or encourage a group or one individual to dismiss another or another group's ability to display their beliefs through freedom of speech. And as far as people in our community feeling isolated and threatened and not part of, that is really a most horrible form of community. We need to work harder as a society. But right here in Enfield, we can and we will be doing something to show our community members that we do care and that every single person in this community is important.
So, yeah. One second. Sorry, everyone. So, yeah, that came from Counselor Cynthia Mangini, who believes the American flag is not inclusive. And this was part of public hearing and debate on whether or not the town council will have the power to decide what flags can be flown on somebody's house. And that is in Connecticut. So, Mark, if you're still listening, Enfield Town Council is located in Connecticut. You might want to go visit that lady. Might want to wake her up a little bit. But she is stating the American flag is not inclusive, and people are feeling exiled in their own communities when other people are flying the American flag in front of their homes. So, but others can fly other flags, other nations' flags in front of their homes. And that could be approved on by town council, because apparently American flags will not be allowed to be flown by the Enfield Town Council in Connecticut. But this is happening in America. But yet you could fly a trans flag, you can fly a foreign country's flag, but not America, because America is actually not inclusive. We have done some serious damage to people. And it's a shame that we allowed this myth that America is not inclusive to perpetuate for so long, that people believe it's a reality. And yet at the same time, millions of people from all over the world want to come to America. Why? Because it's so oppressive and exclusionary? I don't understand this concept and how these arguments still are made. I really don't understand. We are the freest nation in the world, done the most for pretty much all countries throughout the world. Anyone can do anything they want in this country to be successful. Actually, if you have skills and try hard and have some type of work ethic, you can try and be successful here in America. It's not a guarantee. You might fail 1, 2, 8, 10, 20 times, right? Someone may succeed on the second time. You may succeed on your 20th time. But that's the trade-off of living in a free society. And to believe that flying the American flag is the symbol of not being inclusive is stupidity. I don't know what else to say. It's also heartbreaking to hear this nonsense and that people believe this, and that it's sad that kids won't see American flags flying in their neighborhoods, but they'll see foreign countries and other and sexually charged flags flying in their communities. Like, is this the direction of what America really is going towards in 2026, 2027, 2028, where people have such disdain for America that they believe the American flag is not inclusive, therefore you can't fly it on your own house that you own and pay taxes to? Like, we really live in an upside down world. So yeah, that actually happened there. And in New Jersey now, well, Mark, you're in the Northeast, man, so if you're listening, New Jersey, you got the Muslim Brotherhood talking about how successful they've been in infiltrating the MAGA movement. Check this clip out.
Now, within the Republican Party, we see the split, we see the fractures within what the MAGA movement. You see the likes of Tucker Carlson, you see the likes of Candace Owens, you see the likes of Megyn Kelly, you see the likes of Steve Bannon. He's the one who coined MAGA. Do you know what MAGA means? Do you know what MAGA? Do you know what MAGA? Yeah. MAGA, make America great again, right? MAGA, make Israel great again. So he said, either you're MAGA or MEGA. Choose. So he accuses people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, who he calls Mark Tel Aviv Levin. That's what he calls him. These cracks are happening. So now, for those who continue to question, is our work paying off? I'm telling you, it is. Is it where we want it to be? No, it's not. Is it where it should be? No, it's not. Are we able to get there? Yes, we are. Because Allah is providing evidence to us that your struggle is paying off, that your voices is making a difference. But it comes with what? It comes with sacrifices. It comes with hardships. It's the same as Surah Al-Isra. You want the victory in the first and second round? It has to come with a sacrifice. It has to come with struggle. Today we're afforded another opportunity. America now is being divided. Spoke about the promise of Allah, the promise of victory. But you know, if you go and through the ayahs again, you will find that victory comes through struggle. Comes through struggle. There are ups and downs. It depends on the situation of the ummah, of the believers. When we are awarded struggle or we are defeated. It depends on us. Yes, the victory of Allah is given. The promise of Allah is given. But what is not given, it is the people who are going to achieve this victory. Iman necessitates action. I am going to struggle until I die.
So yeah, that's a speech being made at the Muslim Brotherhood in New Jersey. And if you paid attention to that closely, he's talking about how they're proud of the work they've done, where they've infiltrated the MAGA movement and it is actually working in splintering the group. Once again, listen to that. They are acknowledging that they have infiltrated the MAGA movement and helped actually splinter the MAGA group. Why? Because they found pressure points that the MAGA group was vulnerable to, and they ripped it wide open. And we are splintered. The MAGA group is not unified, I don't believe. Maybe they are, but I believe there's an America First group that is feeling extremely isolated right now that's gonna carry some weight. But you're telling me our nation's not stolen when you have foreigners that have been brought to our country through Biden's administration talking this way? Tell me our nation's not hijacked. That they're actually gloating that they've actually have succeeded in splintering the Republican Party. And how do you think they did that? Special interest in money. And if you actually follow the conservative movement, you could tell who they're aligned with. They actually named them. And if you actually dig deeper, there's some money flowing into those people from Muslim countries. 100% that's a true thing. President Trump has business ties with Muslim countries as well. His family does. But there has been infiltration on all levels. And yet our nation is still ours? Is it not stolen about? Is it not stolen? And how do we ever get it back, if we can get it back? Or are we destined to fall off a cliff? I don't know. I prepare for the worst. And hopefully that doesn't come, but that's kind of where I'm at. But when you hear this being spoken, the way it's being spoken, they are proud and they're saying their work's not done. There is more to come. The total infiltration of our country and our politics is robbing the American people of our own voice. We are being robbed of our own voice by foreigners in our country. That's what's going on. And they play the long game. right? Like it's a generational battle that they're willing to carry out. Us as Americans don't understand what a generational battle is. We don't know it. We have never had to fight it because we've had a secure nation for a long time. We don't know what a generational struggle is, right? Hard times, 70s gas line, inflation, 80s, crime in that, right? Like, we don't know what generational struggle is to teach our kids to be ready for a generational warfare, a generational infiltration of a country. These guys are doing it. They're prepping their kids for that. Like, their kids in this country are getting uploaded and set free, young man, set free. We have to get our kids ready for that as well. And that's not an alarmist. That's the reality. That's the truth. If you don't prepare your younger kids for what's coming from the product of those, and that's what happens when you don't have a society that has a shared culture or value system. You have people that are within this country that systemically want to destroy it. I don't know how you can coexist in a country with people that feel that way. I really don't. And it's absurd that we as Americans are even asked to do that. And that's not hate speech. That's not being Islamophobe. That's reality. I don't want my boy being a target because he's a white Christian in a nation founded on Christian principles. Like, that's absurd. But if I speak out about it, I'm a racist or Islamophobe, pull the clip, play it in court. Like, it's crazy, dude. It is crazy. Anytime we speak up or say anything, we are immediately labeled because we call it for what it is. The nonsense that's allowed to be spoken in America. And nothing's done about it. So we play it on here, we talk about it, I rant about it. If Joe was here, Joe would rant about it. The fact of the matter is, you cannot have people that feel this way living in this country. We are destined to fail. We are destined to fail until all of this is cleaned up. And then you got to go back to the school system, because the school system's at the heart of a lot of this, because the school kids are indoctrinated to believe a certain thing, and eventually those kids get to be in positions of power, and then they're able to actually carry out those beliefs politically and cause ramifications for ordinary citizens. We're going to close on two local things here in Colorado. Take a look at this post about Arvada West. Let's take a look here. Arvada West High School in Colorado reportedly gave a presentation in class on red pill influencers to watch out for. This list contains names such as Charlie Kirk, Steven Crowder. We've reached out to the school for comment, but they did not respond. How is this appropriate? Jefferson County Schools. There you go, Andrew Tate. Can't read most of those. Hamza Hamed, Joe Rogan, Aiden Ross. Charlie Kirk, there you go, Steven Crowder, Dan Bilzerian, he's taking a lot of heat now because he's, I believe, primary in Randy Fine, who has super support from a country halfway around the world. So yeah, of course, Dan Bilzerian will be on that list now. I'm surprised Joe's not on there. I'm a little upset. I'm not there yet, but give me a couple of years, maybe I'll get on that list. We'll see. We'll see how far this goes. But that goes on. Who are they to say this? How about we put a list up of liberal podcasters? Or how about jihadis? How about we put a list of those that, hey, maybe we should watch out for these people and not actually watch their stuff? Is that absurd? But that's what taxpayer dollars go for. And that's all good out here in Colorado because we want to indoctrinate the hell out of the people here. We want to indoctrinate the kids indoctrinate the kids. That's why so many kids keep leaving the schools. 10,000, bomb. Right? Like it hits them in the pocketbook. So I really don't understand how they don't realize that what they're doing in the school systems out here is not working. Reading and writing, non-existent. Enrollment dropping across the board. Right? This is all done at the state level. State curriculum, state policies, right? All this stuff could be undone at the local level, and it's not. But yet they still don't understand that this is not appropriate. This is not what kids should have happen in school. And that's just a small example going after concern. But once again, why are they politicizing things in front of kids? Who do they say to the kids, don't listen to this side, but make sure you listen to this side The double standard in education is absolutely out of control. And the problem is conservatives are not getting involved in education because you're so severely outnumbered. So the infiltration of the education system is only going to get worse. Plain and simple. And you can't blame the Republicans that they dismantled the school system, but no, it's not. No way. Obama had 8 years. You had what's his face for 4 or whatever. You had Bush for a little bit, Trump for a little. Like, no. The education that is in the trash, especially in the state of Colorado, is simply done by CEA and the state legislatures and then the teachers unions that actually back everything that's being done. And the teachers unions in this state are explicitly left-leaning. Simple question. I'll pose this question to any Cherry Creek School District, Cherry Creek School Teacher Association member or leader of the Cherry Creek School District, the leader of the Cherry Creek Teachers Association. Real simple question. Do you think teachers should be fired for identifying as a proud American in an equity training? I never heard a statement, never seen a public statement from the teachers union on this. And I'm not a teacher. I wasn't in their union. But after hearing oral arguments, and if you're not paying attention, the district is saying they could fire you for anything that they don't like you saying. Because under job duties, you have to say everything we want you to say. Now, as a union, strictly fair question, do you believe your employer has the right to do that? Simple question. Wondering if they'll pick up on this or comment. Probably not, but it's a question that needs to be thrown out there. As a teachers union, do you back a school district that makes this? And then do you bring this up to your district and be like, is this how we really get treated here? I believe that should be a real conversation that needs to be had now between the teachers union and the school district, because I don't think the teachers union knows that. And once again, I was not part of the union, but they're saying any employee can be fired for this. So they represent a decent amount of school teachers. So I'm pretty sure those teachers would like to know the district's position on this. So if you're a teacher in the Cherry Creek School District, maybe you should be asking those hard questions to your union leadership over summer break. And maybe they'll have an answer for you when you get back in August. Because right now, precedent tells me anyone's fair game. So that's something you should think about. And then we're going to finish with this. Let's play Cut 5. It's about Douglas County, Colorado, and what they're welcoming back.
So after taking a year-long hiatus, the Douglas County Pride Fest is returning. Organizers say they took a pause last year after a full board overhaul. But this event is no stranger to the headlines. In 2022, a performer's costume slipped, revealing nipples on a plastic chest plate during a drag show during Pride Fest. A commissioner tried to get the event banned from county property, but was unsuccessful. In 2023, someone vandalized the property hours before the event. Then dozens of protesters swarmed a family-friendly drag show and didn't leave for 40 minutes. The Pride Fest president says all of this is why they had to return.
For me, it's important that we have this presence, that we show all the support that's out there so that people realize they are supported and that the county is changing with respect to that and is being more open and visibly open to being a welcoming county.
The event will take place on May 17th at Salisbury Park in Parker this year. Organizers say they have a number of safety measures in place to keep people safe.
So it couldn't have been that big because we're a little late on that, so I apologize. But hey, Doug Co., I'm sure you're glad it's back. And I'm sure our founding fathers envisioned all this happening when they tried to break away from the King of England for freedom. Then some 250 years later, this is where we would be. But long behest, here we are, going into Memorial Day weekend for the soldiers that put their lives on the line every day, the ones that were killed in the line of battle. This weekend's for them. So if you lost someone serving, I'm sorry and thank you. Sorry for your loss. We all should take time and remember why we're allowed to be here. Why we're allowed to still allowed to have these disagreements, these discussions. Because quite honestly, one day it all could be gone. There's a fine line. And all those that served, they understood that, and I have nothing but the utmost respect and appreciation for you. And those that lost loved ones in time of service, once again, thank you. Because when your loved one served, you served also. And thank you for the sacrifice of your loved one in the protection of this nation. Memorial Day weekend. It's not just beers, hot dogs, and barbecuing. There's a reason why. There's a reason why. And with that, let me pray us out. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you for the opportunity to sit in this chair and talk with Mark and bring a message to the people of Colorado and the United States and everywhere else that hears this podcast, informing them. Thank you for the tremendous opportunity, Lord. Thank you for my legal team. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my boy. Thank you for all the love and support I receive. Even though I look at everything with a grain of salt, with the negative glance, I appreciate all the blessings you have put in front of me, Lord. I try and remain centered and grounded. I thank you. Every day is a blessing. Dear Lord, watch over our family and friends here at Untamed Nation as we go into a holiday weekend. Please let everyone make good choices and be protected. Dear Lord, please enact love and compassion and goodwill into our leaders to make difficult and right choices to bring this great nation back. Dear Lord, thank you for the good conversation today with Mark. And thank you for Governor Polis putting pen to paper and granting clemency to Tina after many years of battle. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for her, so thank you, Lord, for that as well. Miss you, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dad. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, everyone. Check out Monday. There will be an interview with Joe and Adam Dorito that will be playing at our regular time slot. And we will be back in chair, Joe, on Tuesday. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Class dismissed.
Rise up untamed in the heart of the fire where the wild ones roam. Joe Oltmann's calling, bringing truth back home. From conservative daily to this untamed fire, we shatter the silence, lifting spirits higher. No chains can hold us, no lies can prevail. Authentic and fearless on this rugged trail. Patriots gather under stars and stripes. Untamed nation, igniting the night. Untamed nation, let the truth roll out in this land of the free. Standing proud from sea to shining sea, we won't back down. Catch the fire, wear the crown. Untamed nation, it's our battle song, motivating hearts where the brave belong. Yeah, untamed and wild, forever strong. Play it again all night long. Break the mold, chase the real. No more games, time to heal. Joe's voice leads the untamed crew. Truth matters through and through. It's our bad